Welcome to the Real Estate 401k Show. Here are your hosts, Ryan Gertis, Mike Weinstein, and Justin Frederick, helping you build a legacy of wealth through real estate. Powered by the Recon Group at West USA and the Frederick team with Fairway Mortgage. NMLS number 625918.
All right, Justin, you and I both have second homes. You have a cabin up in Munns Park, and my wife and I, we have a cabin that we call the Brambly Bear.
All right.
It's pretty creative.
I like that.
Because my wife just went nuts with bears.
All right.
Like it's bear everything.
It's the bare necessities.
It's the bare necessities. Thank you for being as cheesy
You're welcome.
as you possibly could.
I had to.
Okay. But before we get into second homes and how we leverage second homes and how we add second homes to our real estate portfolio, I want to get a little just personal, just about Arizona. Every time that we let friends or family stay in Arizona that have never, or stay in our cabin that have never left Phoenix, they are completely shocked and overwhelmed to see pine trees, to see forests all throughout the northern and eastern part of Arizona. And then people who live here in Arizona don't even know that the White Mountains area here in Arizona has the largest growth of ponderosa pines in the entire nation.
I didn't even know that.
I'm not 100% sure it's true.
You're saying it,
actually,
so it must be.
We might want to fact check that. I heard that from somebody. I read it on Google.
Yeah, the smells, just the breeze through the pine, the sound of the wind going through the pine trees. The ability to hear things from so far away
and see stars.
That's one thing that just absolutely blows my mind. Every single time I go up there, I have to go out in the street when it's dark and just look up at the sky. And I always sit back and wonder, like, man, this is what people used to do before there was this hustle bustle, city lights. They used to look up at the sky.
Well, yeah, but they also didn't have running water and toilets. So I'm okay.
I like where I'm
okay.
at too. Yeah.
I can go inside to warmth and a fireplace. You know, for me, it's and Munns Park probably because Munns Park, for people who don't realize, that's closer to the Flagstaff area, and Pine Top, where our place is, includes cities like Lakeside and Show Low and Heber Overgard and things like that. They couldn't be any different as far as, the town feel and things to do and so forth. I consider Pine Top more quaint, more country feel. Flagstaff itself, even though I know Munns Park isn't in Flagstaff, but Flagstaff has got NAU. It's kind of like a small, big city feel. But for me, it's the memories.
Mm-hmm.
It was something when my wife and we now have been married 23 years, and yes, no one knows what's wrong with her. And people go, well, why is she with you? I go, because neither one of us want to be a single parent. So when our youngest moves out, I'm not sure I'm going to still be married. But right now, I've got a few good years left because no one wants to raise two boys on their own. But it's, when we got married, that was one of our goals. That was one of our early goals in our first year of marriage, of one day we want to own something in the mountains. And it took us 19 years to make that dream a reality for us. And now I want to talk about the investment side and the money-making side of it, but I can't put a value on the times that we've had with the family.
Yeah.
And bringing the kids up there and the times that we've had with friends up there. It's having a second home is such an important part of a real estate portfolio when you're at the point, because I'll be clear, a second home, you're not going to make as much money. You'll still make money. But again, it's about family. It's about memories.
And when you say memories, so for me, Munns Park means so much to me because my grandfather had a cabin as his second home up there. And it's only like 13 cabins away from where I'm at. And I used to run amok in the forest. All summer, I'd go up there and stay up there with him. And then fast forward 15, 20 years, my folks got a cabin in between my grandfather's old cabin and my cabin. My mom's only 6 places down from me right now. And I want my kids to experience what I experienced and have grandma there and have us there detached from the city. But yeah, absolutely, it's the memories that I won't forget them.
If you'd like some more information about getting a second home, especially here in the great state of Arizona, but we can help you all around the country, all you got to do is text the word second to 623-AZ-RECON, or just text 2. The number 2, the word 2, it doesn't matter, to 623-AZ-RECON. I don't admit this to many men, but like, okay, for the first part of what we do at the cabin, you're going to be like, yeah, that's right on. It's a game of the sun for us. So we got a back porch and we got a front porch. And in the mornings, it's all about coffee. After lunch, it's all about cocktails. And so depending on where the sun is throughout the day, we got to go from the rocking chairs in the backyard to the front yard to the backyard. But where this really gets cheesy, the thing that I enjoy the most, well, not the most, but one of the things I enjoy the most are feeding those damn squirrels. Yeah. I got these peanut holders that I've nailed to the pine trees. Every morning or every night before I go to bed, I go out, I got this plastic bin. My wife came home one day and she goes, why do we have 50 pounds of peanuts from Amazon? I'm like, well, those squirrels get hungry, right? And so I go out there and I fill these things and we get up and we just sit there. I don't know why. I'm mesmerized. 53 years old, and I get excited about watching frickin' squirrels eat peanuts.
It's so funny you say that. My grandfather trained these squirrels. He would take 2 walnuts and he'd crack them together.
Oh, my gosh.
He'd make the noise really loud. And it was like the forest of squirrels would come running to our back patio, and that was the coolest thing to me. And then he would throw out the peanuts. He would have this giant bag of peanuts, and he'd throw it out. But he used those walnuts to trigger them every single morning, and it was the coolest thing. It was the coolest thing.
Now, was he year-round up there?
No, only in the summer.
Okay, yeah. So I got to figure out how to do that. I'm trying to figure out how to get my wife to do that. I want her to ring something, and when I run into the kitchen, I want there to be burgers and steaks and things like that. You know, I'm easily trained. I try to tell her I've got 3 simple, basic needs. Right? And just ring the bell, and you can use your imagination for what those basic needs are. Okay. So financing.
Okay.
So we know that if I'm going to go out and buy an investment property, I'm going to put a renter in there. I'm looking at, I can do 15% down, but ideally it's 25% down. If I'm listening to this podcast and I'm like, you know what, I want to buy a second home, maybe I can still, rent it out certain times of the year. I can let family and friends use it, but it's a place that we're going to use as well to build family memories. Number one, how far does it have to be from my primary house? Because you can't buy the house next door to your house and say, this is my second home. And talk to me about financing and how much cash do I need down?
Sounds good. All right. So to buy a second home, you need to have a minimum of 10% down. Now, this property needs to be 50 miles minimum away from your home. So there's some areas in there that you need to read into. It can't be in the same environment. So I can't buy a second home in or a house in Peoria as my primary, and then buy a home in Gilbert as my second home, because it's the same environment. It's the same temperature. There's nothing different to do in Gilbert than there is in Peoria. But if I buy in Munns Park, it's totally different weather. I could be in
Phoenix though and buy a Tucson.
You could. You absolutely could.
Or Sedona.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're stupid, buy a second home in Blythe. Or Courtside.
Yeah. What are you gonna eat beef jerky? But yes, needs to be in different environments. So 10% down. The cost is going to be it's not going to be as expensive as it would for an investment property. The mortgage insurance is going to be there at 10% down. However, like we were talking about, the memories, everything, it's been well worth it.
So for us, our plan, and this is our strategy. So we knew when we bought this place that we did not want to turn it into an Airbnb. Because for us, we just wanted that flexibility of not having the calendar tell us that we can't go this weekend
Sure.
when we want to go this weekend. So it was important for us to be in a certain price range that we knew that monthly payment wasn't going to kill us. It's like $1,100 a month because we got like a 2.75% interest rate, right? So it's an easy payment. Knowing that this is the thing, I'm still making money on the property because every month I pay that mortgage payment, I'm buying down the principal. That house, even though I guess you could say it's negative cash flow because I don't having any rental income coming in, but I bought it specifically for us to use it and make those memories, but it's still going up in value. And when our kids do move out, though, and the memories are no longer there, because they're going to go out. My wife and I, we bought a piece of land up there, and we're going to build something that's going to be kind of our thing. And then now, the second home that we have now then becomes now the Airbnb.
There you go.
It's just so many. It's a second home is not always a waste. You got to understand, you're still making money. But again, I can't put that value on the memories that I have with my family.
100%. And I'm going to tell you one more thing. As a second home, you're only required to occupy it 14 days out of the year. So there is people that are buying second homes and Airbnb-ing it while they're not there. My neighbor up in Munns Park, they just make a plan and they use the calendar to their benefit. They make sure they stay there with his family every month, 1 weekend a month. And they just pre-plan those weekends for the year, and then they Airbnb it for the rest of the year.
You know who likes my cabin the most?
Who's that?
Everybody in our family. Finn, our golden lab.
Okay.
And when we pull up and he jumps out of that car, he
Just
sticks his
in
nose
heaven.
in the air and he's like, I'm home.
Yeah.
And he loves the snow. That's the other thing that people don't understand. First of all, we get snow. So we have actually not bad snow skiing here in Arizona.
We have great snow skiing.
Flagstaff has got Snowbowl, a great ski slope. And then people don't understand the White Mountains and Pine Top. I'm 26 miles from Sunrise. And I would say Sunrise, to me, is better skiing as far as the amount of runs and the size of the mountain than Snowbowl.
I've never been to Sunrise, but I heard that there's a lot more runs. Obviously, I stick to Flagstaff because we're much closer than Sunrise from Munns Park. But
we still need. We talked about this early on.
we need
to do a
flip-flop.
swap.
Yeah, we do.
Not a wife swap, but an actual cabin
always gotta
swap.
go there, right?
Always got to go there. And I would be happy to do a kid swap.
Yeah.
I think.
So will I. Take my 3 and 5-year-old.
All right.
Fun.
Well, it's what we do here on this podcast and at the Recon Group is really help you become very creative on building that real estate portfolio that's going to help fund your retirement. And a second home could be a great addition to that real estate portfolio. And we'd love to have that conversation with you. All you got to do is text the word second, the word 2, or the number 2 to 623-AZ-RECON. Again, text the word 2 to 623-AZ-RECON.
Thank you for joining us on the Real Estate 401k Show. If you want more information on how to build wealth, click on the link or text us at 623-297-3266. That's 623-AZ-RECON.